Welcome, everyone, to episode 109 of the Missing Pieces podcast. If this is your first time watching or listening, as this is available everywhere that podcasts are available, my name's Greg, and this is where I sit down and I discuss my life, Lego, and anything else that's in my mind each week. And I want to thank you for allowing me to join you on whatever it is you're doing right now. Thank you for listening to my podcast. This week's episode is actually going to pick up where last week's left off. As I mentioned, I record these on Fridays, typically early afternoon, and I thought we will just jump right into this by explaining to you what we did last Friday evening, which happened to be a really awesome time for not only myself, but also Clark, man. Mrs. Brickitect, or Cody as she's known in some circles, she had a friend that's moving out of state to West Virginia. Why you would choose to do that, I'm not sure. Sorry, West Virginians. Actually, no, I take that back because West Virginia, from my very ignorant understanding of it, it's a fairly depressed area. And I was saying to Cody, I said, we should move to an area where YouTube money goes a lot further. Like, I never really understand people that do YouTube for a living, but then live in places like Los Angeles or Manhattan, for example, where it's so expensive. Like, your money goes so less of a distance, but I imagine there's a lot of opportunities there. There's a lot of action. There's things happening. So I guess you got to weigh things out. But my dream is to take my meager YouTube existence and then I'll move to West Virginia. I could buy like a whole town. I could keep like a whole town going. We could have almost like a WandaVision type thing happening there. Weird fantasies here on Missing Pieces, my friends, but you never know what the future may hold, and maybe someday I'll be living in West Virginia along with Cody's friend who moved out. Anyways, she was going... Should I start this over? Absolutely not. Cody was hanging out with her friend that evening. They were going out for dinner. It was like a send-off of sorts. So Clark and I had the opportunity to make it a guy's night. And I asked him what he wanted to do. Of course, there was two things that most 6-year-olds want to do, at least in my experience. They like to go shopping for toys, and they like to go out to eat at McDonald's. So we did those very things, and we had a great time. It was such a cool experience because we were out shopping, and as much as that is kind of like a solo experience, like between you or the person you're with, we ended up meeting like some really great people out there. Like when we were at Walmart looking at Transformers, of course, there was this kid there and he was just like super cool, and he was talking about all the Transformers he had and giving us recommendations and things. I just thought that was so neat because people, like, it's hard to make friends like out in the real world. We've talked about this before on here, and just to have people come up and like be friendly with you. Also checking out, we had some Minecraft related things, and the cashier was a Minecraft enthusiast, and that kind of brought us together there as well. He was talking about the new update and stuff, which I should say is slightly out of order, but Clark and I played the new update this weekend. We started a brand new series, which is kind of a rekindling of an old series of Greg and Clark Play Minecraft. We started a new world on Sunday afternoon, and my nephew joined us, and we went in and just started having a blast with that. But that's kind of moving ahead. I just thought that'd be relevant here because Minecraft plays a significant role in our lives, and it's so much fun. Like, it just like draws me in, even though like it's Clark's jam, just like we always talk about. Like, if Clark's into something, I get in, and it's hard to resist the allure of Minecraft because there's so many things that you can do and build, and like the opportunities are endless. And as Lego enthusiasts, Minecraft is something that really feels right, like you have a bucket of Lego pieces and you look at that and you're just like, oh, what could I turn this into? You look at, in Minecraft, you're looking at like this hillside or whatever, and you're like, ooh, what could I turn that into? It just feels so good, and I love it so much, and I'm so happy that we can do that together. But speaking of doing things together, let's move back to Friday night here. We ended up doing the whole Walmart run. We bought Super Mario Party, which we ended up playing that night. We did a lot of gaming this week, and we'll talk about that here. But we also bought we bought a Transformer and a little Minecraft toy. Clark was thrilled. I had so much fun. It was such a good experience. Of course, I'm spoiling him, which we'll also talk about here too. But then we left there and we picked up some McDonald's, and we brought it home and ate that, and had a really good experience. Cody came home, and it was just a wonderful night. That wasn't until I inadvertently created a whole ton of controversy that I had no idea that I'd be creating, because after we did all of our stuff, including unboxing the Transformer, me trying to figure out how to transform it, which that first time is always like, it's really difficult, but then after like a couple, you're just like, you got it down. We also played Super Mario Party, which, oh my gosh, it's so much fun. I can't wait to stream some of that, especially the mini games. It's a blast. That's for the Nintendo Switch. I'm sorry, it's Mario Party Superstars, not Super Mario Party. That's the one that came out before this. Superstars is the one we got. It was the newest one. They're the same price. And in store, I looked it up. I was like, which one should I get? So I went on Reddit, which is the place where I trust everyone's opinion. And most people, the consensus was that the newer one is better. It's a little bit faster pace. And I enjoy it. I don't have anything to compare it to, so I was happy with it. But we played that. We opened our advent calendars, did everything. In fact, there's a video. I just got done editing the video on our evening. It's like 22 minutes long. So if you get done watching this and you want to watch the vlog of our, what I'm considering to be like the ultimate Friday night, it's over on Greg's World. I'm definitely going to forget to link it up top, so I'm not even going to say that I'm going to do it. Just go down below in the description of this and click on our vlog channel and you can watch it over there. It'll be probably, it might be the newest video that's up there, pretty close to it. Unless you're watching this in the future, listening to this in the future, then God knows where it is. Just do a search for like, I was going to say do a search for Greg and Clark shop, but that probably wouldn't work out very well for you. There'd be a lot of videos coming up. But that's what we enjoy doing. I had so much fun that evening, and it was just a great opportunity. I love doing like the father-son stuff, and I miss so much of that from when Clarkman used to be home with me every day, of course, but then also remote learning kindergarten, we still had opportunities. But nonetheless, I said that I inadvertently created a ton of controversy, and I didn't even realize I was doing it because after we did all that stuff, I came down and I grabbed a Lego set that I got recently. It happens to be the one that's titled Everyone is Awesome, set with like a rainbow background and a bunch of various minifigs of different colors on the front, all in the rainbow order, just like you'd expect. And Clark and I, we didn't film it or anything. We just filmed the whole day or whatever. So it was just kind of like, Friday night, let's just hang out here. And we built that set together while Mrs. Brickitect was watching some type of Christmas movie, probably some type of Hallmark Christmas movie, which definitely isn't my taste. In fact, as soon as like this, whatever it was that she was putting on, I'm just like, I'm going to go grab a Lego set. Guys out there, you can relate to me. Maybe, I don't know, maybe some of you guys like watching those kind of Christmas movies. But my Christmas movies, Home Alone 1, Home Alone 2, A Christmas Story, Jingle All the Way. Those are my Christmas movies. Don't you elf people, you better stay out of the comments. But this controversy, what happened? Well, I made the mistake of taking a picture of Clarkman with the completed set, and I wasn't doing a review or video on it, so I just said, hey, this set was really fun to build. We tag teamed it, and kind of like he built half, I built half, and it went really quick, and I love the way that it looks. Pretty harmless, right? No problems. That wasn't until everyone started commenting on it, and a lot of positive comments on it, but then it kind of took a turn for the worst with some negativity. If you guys didn't know, the set isn't just a beautiful set. I mean, it's sitting back there behind me. In fact, why don't I go get it? If you're watching this, the vast majority of people watch Missing Pieces as opposed to listen, so I'll just go grab the set so you can see it. Because maybe you've never seen it before. And I'll grab the box too, because the box will come into play here. Sorry for being so unprepared for this event. So here is the set, if you can see it. And you have to admit, like it's a lovely looking set, right? And the messaging on it, everyone is awesome. And that includes people that maybe aren't like you, whether it be a different race or a different gender, or feel like they identify with a different gender, or maybe they like the same gender as that they are. It's just saying like, let's just accept everyone. And I think it's a message that most people would be behind, but apparently not. There was some common responses to this. One of them was, I don't think this set should be for kids. Another one was, and this was probably the most common, I don't like the meaning of this set. Lots of people said, I don't like the meaning of this set. So, the meaning to me is that everyone is awesome. We should accept everyone as they are. And to not like the meaning of that set, I don't understand why that would be. But then there was this one comment that came through, and I'm not using any names here. Actually, I'll use this person's name because it's kind of ironic. They unsubscribed, so I don't have to worry about them actually listening to this. At least they said they did. This comment is from a username, Love Forever. Obviously, it's a very positive message, right? Love Forever, who says, everybody is awesome? No. Children need to learn there is a lot of people sick, and kids have to be protected. I'm unsubscribing. Because that's what people do when they get upset. They want to let you know that they're leaving. I'm unsubscribing. How many times have I seen that in my life? I'm unsubscribing because I took a picture of a set that my son and I built together that I was happy with sharing. They're unsubscribing. And not only that, we got to teach these kids, and this should be today's message, Missing Pieces. All these people that aren't like us, all these people that don't look exactly like me or act just like me or have the same philosophy as me, maybe even the same religion as me, they're sick in the head. And we need to protect our kids from those people. Because, when I'm walking down the street, I'm looking at everybody. I'm like, oh my God, I got to protect my kid from these people. Just like those people at Walmart, like the kid that came up and was talking about Transformers. What if that Transformer enthusiast, what if he was gay? What would I have done? He could have infected Clark with his sickness. And that's just, I'm joking about this, but it's really not a joking matter. Like, I just don't know how somebody, especially with the name Love Forever, could take a message that is, everyone is awesome, and twist it that way. It makes me sad, because I know, like, I've always hyped up the LEGO community. I said, like, the people, at least that I've come across, they're all really good people. Lots of kindness, a lot of positivity. And then to see what I saw there, and especially felt bad for one person that kind of like didn't really come out in the comment, but said, hey, I was thinking about getting this set since I came out to my family this year. They got like 20 responses to that. Not all of them positive. And that made me really sad for that person. Like, that should be something that they shouldn't have to be ashamed of. And maybe if you're listening to this, you have a different feeling than I do on this. But if you're going to be hateful, if you're not going to respect other people, if you're not even just going to be tolerant of other people, I'm okay with you unsubscribing. You don't even have to let me know. Tell you what, you can just go ahead and do it. You can leave. Go listen to the Missing Nazi podcast or something like that. I think you'd be more at home over there. I shouldn't be getting this fired up about this, but I don't know. It really rubbed me the wrong way, especially the one comment from Love Forever, who loves no one apparently other than her people. But yeah, that was different. If I could go back, I thought about this. If I could go back, would I not have made that post? No, I would have kept the post. I still would have done it. I can just imagine if I made a video on it, because the post is only seen by, a few people. Like, usually we get, 10 to 20 comments on a post, This one has, like, at this moment, like 98, because a lot of them are responses. And what's really sad is you see people agreeing with some of these posts. One of them, like, a lot of them went to spam, because there's a lot of words on my channel that are blocked. I went into this automatic thing that blocks like a whole ton of like cuss words and stuff, because you don't want that in your comments. And like people accusing Clark of being gay and all, it's just like, oh my gosh, like, why can't we just enjoy not only Lego, enjoy this hobby, but why can't we just appreciate each other, Like, we're all together in this, whether you want to believe it or not. We're all on this earth. Why can't we put these little, like, I don't even want to call them differences, put these little things like to the side and just love your fellow humans. I'm going to get off my soapbox, but yeah, that was interesting. I do want to read, though, what I think is the best response to all of these people. And this comes from Haley M., who says, people are too negative, saying they don't agree with the message or this isn't for kids. The idea is that everyone, regardless of gender or sexuality, is awesome. That shouldn't have to be a controversial topic. And kids are often aware of their gender and sexuality at a young age, so this absolutely is something that is okay for kids. It shows them that everyone is awesome regardless and encourages respecting everyone, even if they're different from you. It's a good message, and I think it's great that LEGO is supportive of the community. And I wish I could speak that well on this podcast. That's such a fantastic response. Ultimately, though, what really makes me sad, and I feel this way in a lot of ways. I'm going on 37 years old. I'll turn 37 this month. And it makes me sad to see that our world is still where it is at this age. Because it's like, I only have so many years left. I want to see this utopian world where everyone is accepting of each other. Maybe we all have health care and we don't have to go into bankruptcy to afford just essential things. People actually go to the doctor when they need to. Like, we all just kind of agree that maybe we should look out for each other. Maybe we should take care of each other. Like, all of these things you think would be like common sense. I just worry that that's never going to happen because we are so divided. Everybody is divided. And maybe that's what they want. Who they are, I don't know. But it would just be nice to see everybody helping each other, because we'd all be much stronger if we worked together instead of working against each other. And I hope I see that in my lifetime. Hope I can live long enough to see that. My hope, and I have a lot of confidence in the younger generation, maybe not even my generation, But the ones that are just very young right now, like Clark's generation, I don't know what you call those kids, Zoomers. I don't know what the thing is after that, but I'm hoping that these guys are the ones and girls are like, we're going to fix this. They're obviously going to have to fix a lot, whether it be the climate or politics or whatever. I'm hoping that we can keep things going long enough for these kids to come through and be like, let's fix what all these older people did to us. Let's get this stuff resolved. And I'm hoping to see that. My hopes and dreams of missing pieces, everyone. But anyways, let's move on to the next topic here. Beyond that, I'm sure that's going to get a lot of comments. And again, if you're just going to comment something hateful or whatever, I mean, I appreciate your feelings, and I'm not going to discount you and how you feel. But just don't. Just save it. This isn't the place for that. Saturday was nice. Well, it started out nice. We did a mail time that morning, and things were good. But after a mail time, I started editing the video, and I noticed Clark, man, he wasn't his usual self. Like his energy level was a little low. Oh, should I get this out of the shot here because it's going to offend so many people? No, we'll keep it there. And as I was editing, I saw him get the blankie, and he gets a pillow and stuff on the couch, and I know what that means. He's going to go down to sleep, and he did. And that's really weird for him because Clark is very anti-naps these days. Like, he doesn't want to waste any time that he could be awake by sleeping. So he was sleeping for a while, and I noticed he just wasn't doing great. He kind of recovered that day. We did our Hasbro care package video. Like, at that point, he was fine. Like, once he woke up, he was fine. In fact, after that, we ordered Five Guys. We did DoorDash, which Five Guys, oh my gosh. I'm looking for a sponsor, Five Guys. If you could... if you'd like to sponsor this podcast, I would literally do it for free just because I love your food so much. Wouldn't that be an honor? This missing piece is brought to you by Five Guys. Get the shirts. I could be eating some peanuts here, having a hamburger. Okay, I'm going to stop dreaming for a moment, and we'll talk back about reality. Clark had dinner. Everything was good. But then later in the evening, he was like, I think I'm going to get sick. I'm going to throw up. And lo and behold, thankful he made it to the bathroom. He got sick a couple times that night, and things weren't looking so good. So thinking he got some type of bug or flu bug or whatever from being at school, I would assume. And the poor kid, he has just such a terrible track record at this point with schooling because he's been in school for now like 10 or 11 weeks, and he's been sick 4 times, including one of which was COVID. Cody seems to think that because he wasn't in daycare while he was very young, and he wasn't in preschool, he wasn't in kindergarten for the most part. This is like his first real year back to school. And she's thinking that he's starting to get all of the viruses that other kids would have already gotten and maybe are okay with. Now he's hitting them all now because he was kind of like sheltered from that. And I guess it's good that he's getting it now. Like it's much easier to communicate with a 6-year-old going on 7-year-old that's throwing up than like a 2.5-year-old that's throwing up. Like it's easier for everybody. So he's having a rough run this year, but he was kind of down on Saturday. Sunday kind of recovered a bit. That's the day we played Minecraft. So he was good during that. But you could tell, like, even if you go back and watch last week's mail video, like as I was editing, I'm like, oh man, Clark doesn't seem himself. And then I start to worry because like you could see he was like his energy level was low, and I start to think like, oh God, people are going to think that he's spoiled because we were opening up packages from people, and if he's, I guess, like maybe if he's not like, thank you so much, and like going crazy over it, maybe people are like, well, obviously he doesn't appreciate what he's getting. And I start worrying because we, everybody's comments are in my head at this point, based on the whole spoiled thing from last week, which again, we're going to talk about it at great length here, in listener feedback. Because I said my piece on it last week, and this will be your chance to do it here. And we've got some really great stuff coming through. This week on brickitect was really fun. Actually, Clark stayed home with me Monday. Well, that was real nice. It was nice having him home with me. He could have gone back to school, but I didn't want to risk getting some other kids sick, like had he gone in and then infected other people or whatever. And I just wanted to give him like an extra day, because nothing would be worse than going into school thinking you're good, and then you go to the cafeteria and you get some macaroni and cheese, and then you puke it all over the cafeteria floor. That stuff's going to stick with you. You might end up with a nickname after that. So we kept him home just to be safe, but he was all good that day. We had a fun day, and I love being home with a little guy, like my favorite dude. So that was Monday. Tuesday. Oh man, Tuesday. That was supposed to be, or was it Wednesday? No, it was Wednesday. I'm going to get my days straight here. I didn't document much this week, honestly, because of I guess I was just trying to get a lot of stuff done. I was trying to get video editing done. And plus I had this big plan this week, and this will kind of go into the next topic. After we talk about Lego, I've been doing like the Christmas backlog. I did like a tour of that, and I opened up a set that was kind of expensive, but I made the decision that I was going to open it up and enjoy it, because that's what Lego is for. If you'd like to hear my thoughts on that, I really went into depth in that video, but basically what I've determined is that I don't want to just be like a collector of things. I want to be an enjoyer of things, and that applies to Lego as well. So I made the decision to open that up. Also shared a few hauls this week. Finally did all of my like Amazon purchases and Target purchases from like November and December. Just lumped them all in one video, and that was fun to do. But Wednesday was supposed to be a really awesome day this week. It didn't turn out to be, spoiler alert, because I was going to play Halo the whole day. I had this weird thing that I want to do. You guys know, like, I have these crazy things that I want to do, like moving to West Virginia and having Five Guys sponsor my podcast. Even crazier than that, I wanted to know what it feels like to be one of these streamers, one of these game streamers that just like plays video games for hours on end. And I very rarely do that, if actually ever, other than when I'm with Clarkman. But I just wanted to do it like during the day, and it found a great opportunity when Halo Infinite was coming out. And that was supposed to come out on Wednesday, so I was like, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a little bit of stuff done this morning, but then when I'm done with that, I'm just going to do Halo like all the way up until I have to pick Clarkman up from school on Wednesday. It turns out that Halo wasn't actually coming out until 1 p.m. that day, and then I would have to download it and everything. So I scrapped that, and I worked on Lego stuff the rest of that day, which is probably preferable to you if you're listening to this, because you'd rather see me do Lego content than gaming content, and that makes sense. But I was a little bummed by that, but I was like, you know what? Thursday is going to be the day. So once again, Thursday morning, I got some things done that I needed to do. And at noon, I had it scheduled that I was going to stream Halo Infinite for like 3 hours till I had to pick Clarkman up. About 11:30, I came down. I was eating some lunch. I'm like, I should go make sure everything's good with that. I turned the system on, turned the TV on, get everything all set up. And it turns out that the campaign didn't automatically download, which I thought it did. I thought I was good to go. But I can understand why they didn't do that, because they have kind of broken into chunks, and some people never want to play the campaign. They just want to play multiplayer. So I was like, okay, let's download it. Turns out it's 21 gigabytes, and it took me 2.5 hours to download. Oh, it was so painful. I had the stream already scheduled before I even checked into it, so I had to move the stream back to 1 o'clock. I'm like, yeah, it's about halfway done. And then I'm like, oh crap, this is going to go to 2, and it did. But things ultimately worked out, and this is what I really believe in my life. I think things always find a way of working out, because I played it at 2 o'clock. I got like a perfect hour in, and right when I needed to leave, it was like the end of the first mission and going into the second one. So I was just like, yes, at least I got my first hour recorded. And it was so much fun. If you guys haven't played Halo Infinite yet, it's really incredible. He actually has a grappling hook now. I haven't played Halo since Halo 3. I missed out on 4, Reach, and 5, which according to lots of people, 5 is like not so good. But he has like a grappling hook right now. And it really does feel like you are Spider-Man. Like you're like slinging that thing out there, and then you can jump too. So you're kind of like flying a little bit. It's really cool, and shooting people. And I mean, can we say that on YouTube? Shooting enemies, aliens specifically, is really satisfying. And it's a first-person shooter, and it just feels like you're immersed into it. Somebody in the chat was like, how amazing would this be in VR? And I'm like, oh my gosh, it would be so incredible playing Halo in VR. So maybe that'll be a thing, but I'm enjoying it as is. I only played that at 1 hour. I was going to play more today, but here it is Friday afternoon, and it's almost 1 p.m., and I need to go to the grocery store this afternoon to pick up a cake for Cody's mom's birthday. We're hosting her tomorrow, and I'm going to get some other things as well. So by the time I get that done and then get back here and unload everything, I'm probably going to have to go get Clarkman. So all these things that I want to do may not actually come to fruition, because time moves so quickly. I talk about this sometimes, and maybe you can relate to this if you're listening. Back when I worked at my job, I would always be looking at the clock because I was bored off my rocker there, and it'd be like, time is moving so slowly. Now it's like, oh my gosh, time is moving so quickly. And I guess that tends to happen when you're editing a 22-minute video down from probably what is an hour of footage, and you're going through all of that and stuff. Like that, when you're in the zone, you don't notice the time, but when you're like miserable, you're just like, oh goodness. So I'm happy to not live that life anymore, and I'm happy to work on the things that I enjoy. It's just so quick though. Like Clarkman gets on the bus at like 8:25 in the morning, I have roughly 6.5 hours to do all the things that I need or want to do. And that time's just like, whoosh, it's gone. And I make a point now, because I'm finding balance and I've been doing really good with this. I don't do any work in the evenings. That's the end of it. When I close everything down, I might work on some Lego sets. Like I'll build some Lego up at the dining room table with the family there, and get Clark involved in that too. Like the Everyone is Awesome set, and before I get reamed for it. But I don't know. I think that's a good balance, because if it was up to me, and it's very easy to get into this because I was in this for a long time, I would, after dinner, I'd come down, start doing things and stuff. And before you know it, like that little bit of time that you guys had, it's evaporated. And I don't want that to be that way. So I try to find a balance, and it's worked out. I'm able to do all the things that I'm trying to do, whether it be making a vlog video or doing Lego content or uploading gaming stuff. Like it just seems to work out. And the gaming stuff I really enjoy, because most of it is with Clark, man, even though Halo was a solo thing. So we just play together, and then we do streams of that. We're doing it anyway. And then sometimes I'll do like little highlight videos of the funny moments, and it just seems like perfect. And I definitely see that being something in the future that definitely grows. And I'm really excited because like I'm seeing like some results in that channel, and you guys know I'm goal oriented. I talked about this last week. So it's fun to see like things kind of ticking up a little bit. I kind of live for that. So I was really stoked. So other than that, one other game that I played, since we're in brickitect or Greg's Arcade News, I played Forza Horizon 5 this week, and that game is just stunning. Oh my gosh, I'm literally sitting there playing it and just blown away by the graphics. I did a live stream, my first hour of that as well. It kind of just worked out both days, and oh goodness, they're giving me so many awesome cars, and I'm driving them off road, and it's so awesome. So if you guys have Xbox Game Pass or Microsoft Game Pass, it's like $15 a month. I always get it on sale. Like it's like $28 for 3 months is what I usually pay. And you can play all these games. It's like Netflix, only it's video games. You do have to download them. It's not like streaming, but you download them, and then you can play like tons of Microsoft titles, including all of the Halos, all of the Gears of War. Forza is on there. It's remarkable, the value that they're providing. It almost seems too good to be true. Almost like the way of Disney Plus seems, where it's like, really, you're giving me all of this for this little bit? Like, what's the catch here? And I worry that they're in like the customer acquisition phase right now, and then eventually they're going to dial it back and be like, oh, okay, well, if you want this, turn the knob, and then it's like, extra or whatever. I don't know, but I'm happy to be where I'm at right now with it. It's remarkable. So if you're thinking about getting a PS5 or an Xbox for the next generation, I would probably lean towards Xbox just for Game Pass, because it's crazy, especially if you missed out on a bunch of games of the past few generations. You could literally buy this console and never, ever buy a game for it. Craziness. But anyways, that was kind of my week, as exciting as it was. But I'm going to turn this over to you guys now for listener feedback. And most of the comments from last week's episode were centered around the concept of Clark being spoiled. I mentioned that it was something that came up in a video that we did regarding an RC vehicle that we purchased. And there was a few comments on there that, mentioned about Clark being spoiled. And I discussed my thoughts on that, which was mainly, to me, being spoiled is it's a way of acting. It's a mental thing, as opposed to actually receiving things. And you guys seem to agree with that for the most part. And I thought I would read down through these here. But I will say this is going to be the final time we ever talk about anything regarding spoiling. I'm going to put that in as one of the blocked words, and it's just never going to appear again. So let's just get this over with. Not that I don't want to read your guys' comments. I just want to get this topic done for, put the stamp on it, and let's move on with our lives. So let's start with Jim here, longtime supporter and repeat offender here on Missing Pieces. He says, I often struggle with my Lego collection and my kids having access to so much. I get so much out of spending time together and talking and building together. I'm sure they do too, but I struggle with that same spoiled kid comment. I do feel that there is that boundary between expectation and thankfulness. Jim says it so much better than I do. I know they are thankful when we spend time together, either building or otherwise. When they ask to build a set, I have, and I say no, I always counter with another way for us to spend time together. So far, there have never been pushback, so I think that is the line of expectation versus being thankful. They don't care, they just want to spend time together. If I get that tantrum or entitlement vibe at any time, I would have to reevaluate. For now, I'll enjoy the time together in any way that makes us happy, laugh and build those bonds and endure. You keep doing that with Clark and Cody. Life is good, and these times make life worth living. You do you, and have fun. I think that's great advice. I'm going to put Jim Rolfe into advice detect. He's going to be my lieutenant advice detector. Next one comes from just a fantastic guy that I think everyone on the internet loves, Jabbo from Brickitect. He says, I've seen the spoiled comments from time to time too. When I think of spoiled, I think of unappreciative, selfish, a brat, demanding, unloving, and those types of things. Yeah, that's what I was saying. He says it's the person that has always been giving what they want, person that has always been given what they want and is unthankful and not willing to share. I saw a kid at a store once that was showing the signs of being spoiled, pitching a fit to get his toy. He was making a scene and not obeying his mom, who was trying to check out. She repeatedly tried to get him to behave and finally resorted to a little more firm form of discipline, at which time the kid shut up. I wanted to applaud her, and he didn't get his toy. My mom didn't take that from me either when I was a kid. You want to have a spoiled kid, give him what he wants every time he pitches a fit. Having things doesn't mean a person is spoiled, it's how they act. I think the comment you got reflects another trait, jealousy. And he has a good point there too. You don't know who's commenting on your videos. It could be people my age, it could be people older, it could be 8-year-old kids. Everyone has access to devices today, and all they have to do is click a little button, and all of a sudden a keyboard pops up where you can spout whatever nonsense that you want out of your mouth, as we saw in the Everyone is Awesome thing. And some of it, I think, does come from jealousy. But, there is some basis in reality there. They're not making it up. When you see a kid get a lot of things, especially expensive items, that's I think, a very common response to that. But I agree with what both these guys say, especially Jabbo here, who's talking about person being unthankful, unappreciative, selfish, brat, demanding, unloving, and none of those things describes Clarkman. The one thing that describes Clarkman is he does get a lot of things, but he's also appreciative. He enjoys those things. The stuff that we get, he plays with like crazy until we move on to the next thing. But a part of this is like me too. Spoiler alert, this is probably a secret to no one, but I love collecting Transformers. I love collecting Lego sets. If this is like for me, but like to share with him. That's not to say though, if I didn't do anything Lego and he walked in a Lego aisle and was like, I really love the whatever, insert Lego set here, I'd be inclined to be like, all right, let's do that. And then I'd be like, just like the Minecraft thing, I would get sucked in and we would do it together. I'm sure it's just the life that I live here. Thank you for the comments, guys. Next one comes from Journal of the Scots. He says, you hit the nail on the head, Greg. Huge difference between being spoiled and spoiling yourselves with an item you enjoy or want or have a want for. It's so important for parents to spoil our kids with our time and for those teens out there to keep us in, at least. Thanks, Greg, for being such a great example and open communication. Clark's going to do amazing things and look forward to my kids accomplishing their dreams. Absolutely. I think parents have a big involvement in it, and that time thing, what you mentioned there, is so important. Like, if you're going to spoil your kid with anything, spoil them with your time. And that's unfortunate that with busy lifestyles, like people have to work, people are busy, people get tired when they get home. That's oftentimes the hardest thing to spoil your kids with. Next comment here comes from Michael, who says, so many great takeaways this week. I think the comments like the ones you described often come from the basis of envy, which is what Brickzar said. As a child, I always had what I needed, and my parents spent much of the time with myself and my sister growing up as they could. We would not always get everything we wanted, but when we did, we also appreciated what it was. The dollar amount it was not important. It could have been a $10 or $100. When you're young, you just don't think in dollars and cents. This brings me to my win of the week. Ooh, we got an early one here. A family friend teaches at a low-income school where most of her kids would not have Christmas without help. My wife and I picked up the list of first grade with 4 things on it, and they wanted for Christmas, the first being Legos. It took $100 to get the 4 items this 7-year-old wanted. I will never know if he will like what we got him, or if he'll appreciate it or not, or if on some level he is spoiled, but frankly, it's not about him. It's about putting something good into the universe and hoping that someday he will pay it forward to someone else. Oh my gosh. I love that. I'm not going to get emotional, Michael. Nice try, but just giving to other people feels so good. And you didn't do that with any expectation of being paid back. There was nothing other than, I want to do this. I want to do this for this kid. And I bet that kid's going to be just stoked. Very cool, man. Very cool. Okay. Tracy's going to save me here. from getting emotional on missing pieces, something I never do. She's also a repeat offender, by the way. Tracy, thank you for commenting every week. She says, I think spoiled comments and kids saying something is unfair is a reflection of how their perspective has not yet expanded. I like this. Unfortunately, this can be true of some adults who jump to conclusions and make those conclusions known on the internet. Who would do such a thing? Who would make their conclusions based on their limited perspective known on the internet? Can you guys think of a set where they would comment that on? I don't know. I reflect on the idea of spoiling often. There are a lot of ways I could be seen to spoil my kids, the biggest of which is time. Lately, I got a sensory table from a thrift store, and my daughter and I have been filling it with sand, Orbeez, fake snow, slime, and other things, playing with it together. All in the evening, we have gotten it for the cost as the same as eating out at McDonald's. Something many families do often, and we mainly do on a trip or special occasions. The time we have spent together has been amazing. I think in the way of my time and attention, I do spoil my kids, but I don't think that is a bad thing. I don't think so either, Tracy. A neighbor I don't know well commented the other day that my daughter and I seem very close. She said that it was nice how we spent time together and got along so well. She doesn't see her now adult daughter much and argued and urged me not to take this time for granted and to keep making those memories. Perspective can change the way we see things. A child who does not have a super close relationship with their mom sees my connection with my daughter as spoiling her. A mother who has lost connection with her daughter sees it as a precious treasure. Keep that in mind as you read comment section or as you interact with people. Thank you for sharing your thoughts on the matter. I appreciate hearing how other parents deal with questioning their progress in parenting, just like I do. I love this. I love this concept of perspective, and I feel like this is probably the story of this entire podcast. Your perspective on the world can be so important, but it's important to know that while your perspective should be respected, it's also limited. The way you perceive things isn't necessarily the way that other people do, and it's not necessarily the way things actually are. You might think something's true when it's very not true, and you shouldn't let your perception of something negatively impact someone else. It's fair to feel how you feel, but don't put other people down because of that. And that's oftentimes what we're doing when we are on the internet and we see something that we don't agree with or we don't like or whatever, and you feel that urge to then comment. Just take a step back and think, well, is this just how I feel? And you have every right to comment on it because this is an open place, right? Like the comments are open to the public. But should you? That's the real question. The next two comments here, Tracy, thank you again for that. These next two comments I think are fantastic because they're both from people that have had different experiences with being spoiled. The first one is from Nowhere Girl, who says, my parents never spoiled me with their time. They bought me the things I wanted at birthdays and Christmas, but aside from the occasional walk to the park or cinema visit, that was it. As an adult, we've grown somewhat distant. Although we're friendly, we have almost nothing in common. I wish they'd put the effort to try to get to know me better when I was young. I'm sure this is partially my fault too. You and your son have an amazing bond. Don't let anyone take that away from you. So again, here's somebody that, and this seems to be a common occurrence where if a parent doesn't spend time or spoil their kids with the things that apparently you can spoil your kids with, in the future you end up really paying the cost of that because then you don't have that thing, like especially the time that I keep bringing up so often. On the contrary though, Lego Dude 11 says, hello again, Greg. I want to discuss your topic on being spoiled. As being an only child myself, I couldn't help but think about myself while you were talking. I feel like as I've grown up, my parents did more for me than others. When I look back at my younger years, I think that ultimately gave me enjoyment for my childhood that I now have grown into the person I am today. Now, as a young adult, I can be independent and make my own choices and get things on my own. But Clark has this relationship with his parents, and that's special. It is a bond that is important. He may grow apart as he gets older, but right now you have to cherish the time. I want to do this for my kids someday, and your parenting is so special. Keep up the amazing work, and I'll be your next missing piece. I love this because he's coming from the perspective of what he determined to be a spoiled kid. This could be Clark talking when he grows up. I like that you appreciate what you've had. I like the fact that it brought you together as your parents, or you and your parents together, and the fact that you can now as an adult realize that, I can make decisions on what I need. I don't need to have everything. But it's interesting seeing two different scenarios here. One where the parents were kind of not involved, whether it be in time or material objects, and how that negatively affected their relationship going forward, and how this one positively did. Will that happen in every situation? Probably not. And Tracy commented the same thing, essentially, is that she's putting the time in with her kids, and that's the true thing that's really special. And that's my biggest takeaway from all of the comments that I get regarding being spoiled. You're telling me that I'm spoiling my kid in a video where we're opening something up that we're about to and showing ourselves going outside with and spending time together and having some laughs, having some fun. If that's spoiling your kid, and this is the thing that I always come back to, and this is my response to those people, and my final response, if caring for your kid, giving them opportunities that are within your means to give them, and sharing that together in really good times with each other is spoiling, I'll gladly spoil Clark until the day that I die. Final comment on that. Thank you everyone for left comments regarding being spoiled. Again, this is the last time I'll talk about this. I think this is the second time it's come up with missing pieces. But I'm done. I've said my piece. And it seems as though most of you, we all kind of agree on this. I'm sure there may be other people out there that, they still feel the way they feel. And that's fine. Like if that's how it is, that's how it is. But I don't know. I'm done with it. Speaking of, not being done with it, this actually is really interesting. I love missing pieces as a way to communicate with you guys, but I also love the interactions that we have. And last week, I replied to a comment that I got about Lego being a burden. Prior week, which would have been episode 107, if I'm doing my live math here properly, I made a comment about when you're collecting things, you really need to think about what you bring into your life, because often like these things become a burden. Like if you buy something, that thing is now yours. You have to find a place for it. You have to find something to do with it. You have to manage it, right? And I said, collecting Lego can be a burden. And there was a commenter that came through by the name of Elnerd, and he didn't appreciate that comment. He said, if Lego is such a burden, why don't you donate it? And having these first world problems isn't a good look for you. And I replied back that it's not about my Lego collection being a burden. I actually love my Lego collection. It's when you're acquiring things, it's something you need to think about. Also, the thing that really kind of bothered me was the first world problem comment, because I just feel like it's a way of writing people off. Like unless you are living in like a dirt hut somewhere, your problems don't exist. And I mentioned last week that even if you're a millionaire or billionaire, like I'm sure Elon Musk still has problems in his life. I'm sure Jeff Bezos has problems in his life. Maybe his problems are way different than most people's problems, but they still exist. Just because they're billionaires, does that mean that they're not allowed to have problems? And that was my question back to Elnerd, who took the time to respond this week. And I thought that was really nice of him or her. It says, thanks for reacting to my comment from last episode. My criticism weighed heavily on the choice of the word burden. It has such religious and spiritual connotations of describing out hardships in life, and when I heard you use it to describe Lego and materialistic problems, it triggered me to comment, which is something I never do. I really should have left my statement at donating and sharing what you don't have with others. I apologize for the first world problem, Zinger. It didn't intend to spread negativity. Let me give this another try, though, so I'll leave you with a challenge rather than more comments. I want to encourage you to use your platform to get others to get into the season of giving to the less fortunate. I remember as a kid, my parents would make us pick a few toys to donate each year. This wasn't just to make room for more toys, but to remind us that we're truly blessed to have what we have. I would love to see you and your son giving back and hopefully encourage many more to do the same. Absolutely. We do toys for tots. I don't know what your thoughts are on such things. Do kids actually need toys? But Toys for Tots I think is really great. And that's one that I've done ever since I started working at my original job. They had like the box. They would bring the box in every year and I'd pick a toy out and put it in there. Don't take anything there. I don't think they take any used toys. You want to go pick up something. And don't make it anything that's overly expensive, because I think, and I don't know this for certain either, but I heard that, like, say you took a PlayStation 5 in there, for example, and just dropped it in there. I don't think they just give one kid a PlayStation 5. I think they find a way to, like, maybe sell that off and then use the proceeds to help more kids. And that's a much better thing to do. So if you are going to drop $500 in some way on a Toys for Tots type thing, try to buy 50 things that are $10 and put that in there. If you'd like to see a video of us donating, we actually recorded it one year. We donated a whole bunch of trains to Toys for Tots, Lego trains. I don't know if it's on this channel or the other channel, but I did document it. But I don't like doing that, though, because then it looks like you're documenting it to document it. So if that's something you want to do, you can do that privately. But I do appreciate Elnerd coming back and kind of justifying it and apologizing, which I don't think it was really necessary to apologize for. If it's how you feel, it's how you feel. But again, like if people are going to be honest and authentic and share how they feel, it's not good to discount how that feeling is, no matter how much it maybe rubs you the wrong way. But I do appreciate him coming back. And I think that's really awesome to have this experience on a podcast like this where we can kind of go back and forth. I think that's neat. So I appreciate you taking the time to listen for another week, and hopefully this ends up finding its way into your ears. This next one here isn't really, this one's a question, actually. I like this. This is from Plizzy. He says, great podcast this week. Here's a question I wanted to ask you while listening. One of my favorite YouTubers right now, his channel is iTalk, and he does mainly Fortnite commentaries and skin reviews and stuff like that. Earlier this week, his account got disabled, which his account probably had $10,000 worth of cosmetics. He lost it in the blink of an eye, and it's hard seeing him cope with that sort of loss. If this happened to you, you lose all your Lego, RC, video games, would you still be making the same vids, or would you think about quitting YouTube? For me, I don't see myself ever quitting YouTube. And I don't know if losing those things would be the equivalent of losing something, like one thing in particular that you worked for. I guess the easiest way to do that in the world of Lego would be you built this Lego city that you spent years and years building, and it's incredible. And then all of a sudden somebody comes in and just pushes the table over and smashes it all, or it gets stolen or whatever. Like what happened to that one guy, forget his name. Ryan made a video about him. That's really disheartening. That's soul crushing to have that happen. I think about, say you had a Minecraft world that you spent years and years on and somehow it got corrupted or deleted or something. It would be soul crushing, but I don't think that is a reason to quit. Why give up on the thing you love just because whatever progress you had is lost? Maybe it's an opportunity. Your Lego city gets pushed over. You're like, oh, okay, I've got space to make something here. Maybe we can make it better. I didn't really like the way that layout was. Let's try something different. So no, I wouldn't quit if I lost all my stuff. As kind of like a joke, I guess if my storage room got completely emptied, it would be nice because it means I don't have to organize it anymore. That burden for Elnerd, first world problems, the burden of actually organizing the stuff that you collect. But it's also fun to have stuff organized. I've always had this dream of having a Lego library. And it's just a matter of having everything in drawers, and you have your binders full of your manuals and stuff. And I love that. I think it's a fun thing to do, and I think it's like a gift to your future self if you put the time and effort into that burden, whatever that is to you, to take care of it today instead of tomorrow. So I've been doing little by little. I have my storage room kind of inkling, it's doing something towards where I'd like it to be, but we'll eventually get there. Next one here comes from 3 Dudes RC. I think we got a few wins of the week here. Oh, this one, I like this one because this is kind of what I talked about last week regarding just like recording stuff, documenting memories, I guess is what it is. He says, hey Greg, I look forward to the missing pieces each week while doing my chores. I started a separate YouTube channel about a year ago to post more personal and family related content. All the videos there are unlisted. I haven't posted a ton of videos on there because the time I spend on my public channel, 3 Dudes RC. He makes a point of mentioning his channel name a few times here, so this may feel like an ad. He says the videos are unlisted channel because they're mainly my siblings and snowmobiling, tubing, jumping on our trampoline, that sort of thing. I can access the videos anytime I want, and I can also send the links out to our out-of-state relatives. So that's pretty nice. It's so much fun to go back and forth and watch some of the videos from a year ago, and I imagine it'll be even more fun in later years. It absolutely will. You're going to love this 10 years from now to see what you were like and what your friends or your siblings were like. I also keep all those videos on a flash drive, but having them on YouTube is great since they are always only a couple clicks away. My win of the week is hitting 270 subscribers on, you guessed it, 3 Dudes RC. My goal is to hit 300 by the end of the year. Anyways, thanks for... I really enjoyed the episode. Keep up the good work from Cole. Cole, thank you for commenting. Sorry about the joke about the advertising. I'm just happy you're still making videos, man. Congrats on 270. Let's get this man to 300. I love the idea of documenting things, obviously. Putting them on a flash drive is definitely a great idea because you never know what could happen to YouTube. I also recommend taking that flash drive to the next level and putting it into a fireproof box. Or maybe having 2 flash drives, one that's at your place and then one that you give to like a family member. That way it's elsewhere. Because if your house burns down, then everything's lost. So I have 2 backups on everything. But to do unlisted videos and then you'd be like, hey, let's go check this thing out. Or if I want to share this with my aunt or whatever, it's there. You're never going to not appreciate the fact that you recorded something because I look back at like my nephews from when they were Clark's age, and I'm so thankful to have those videos to be like, oh, that's crazy to see Kyle at Clark's age when he's 17 now. It's and turning 18 next year. It's just so wild to have that. And had I not recorded that, had I not put the effort into pressing that button and filming whatever it is, it would just be lost. I mean, the memories are surely there, if maybe, but like I don't sometimes remember the things that I film. I could watch a video from 2011 and be like, oh, I don't remember that day, but it certainly happened, and there it is. So yeah, I encourage you, whether you want to share it publicly or not, whether you want to do anything with the videos, just start recording, especially if you're a parent. Record those moments with your kids. I'm sure you probably do already. I think lots of people are into photos, but videos are just like something special to me. The fact that you're almost transported to that moment and you're there in that while it's happening it's crazy. So thank you for the feedback on that, and maybe it'll encourage one person out there to record something that you can come back in Missing Pieces episode 500 and be like, dang, Greg, that was good advice, because now I'm so happy to have this stuff. Let's move on to a few wins of the week. We've got Brick Sequel for the first one. Win of the week, went to my best friend's house for the first time. Saw a soccer game. He gave me Lego. Oh, that's a win instantly. Played with his dogs, and his mom made homemade pizza and homemade snickerdoodles. Can I be this guy's friend too? It sounds like an amazing time. I would love to be a part of that. Next one we have is from Jabbo at Brickstar. He also has the win of the week. He's a multiple comment offender. I like that. He says, listen to this while driving to work Monday. My win of the week, enjoying time with my family over the weekend while building the Titanic. I'll try it again. Surprisingly finished it in just 3 days over the weekend when one of the most enjoyable builds I've ever done. I was so engrossed in it, I even forgot my channel's 9-year anniversary until after I got done building. Hey, that's a double win of the week. Built the Titanic, which would probably take me like 16 years to do, and 9-year anniversary on your channel. Congratulations. That's pretty darn cool. Also, I guess it was my channel's anniversary too, because mine's like in the beginning of December. How many years? 8 years? Yeah, I think 8 years for me. So you're just a year ahead of me. Pretty wild how time flies, but congratulations on the Titanic. I hope you enjoy the heck out of it. I didn't get a chance to watch the video, but I saw he put it up above his shelves in the background. I don't know if it's going to be a permanent thing, but I got to get caught up on Jabbo's videos. He's putting out content like me, man. It's like every day, and I want to just like watch every one of them. If you guys haven't subbed to him, make sure you guys do that. Next one is from Janos. It says, tiny win of the week. The amounts are weird because I converted them from HUF, which is Hungarian forints, but it can be huge ugly frogs as well if you wish. Okay, we'll go with huge ugly frogs. Or no, we'll go with forints. I like that if I'm saying it right. So the other night I ordered 2 small Duplo sets for $28, but in the morning they sent me a discount code worth $10 and the purchase is over $33. Since they hadn't dispatched my last night's order yet, I was able to cancel it and add a third small Duplo set on top of the others, and I used the code they sent me, so instead of buying 2 sets for $28, I got 3 for $24. It's a small win, but saving money and getting sets for free is always a good deal, I think. Dude, if there was ever a win of the week, saving money and getting free Lego sets, or getting extra Lego sets, I should say, because you did pay, I would say paying $24 for an extra set is better than paying $28 for not having that. So congratulations on your win of the week. Well done. Next one comes from Tracy, who is also a repeat comment offender. It says, small win of the week. I like small wins. I like tiny wins. I like big wins. Everybody has a small win, it seems. She says, last week I saw a Lego set half price that was not a must-have. I almost got it, but decided to save that money for a set I wanted in the future. Yesterday I saw the Nutcracker brickhead at Walmart for $10. I was so happy to get it and build it, and now have it as a Christmas display. Well worth the sacrifice of not buying the clearance Lego. Smart move. Smart move. Enjoy your set on display. Be careful not putting it up on a high shelf, because occasionally they like to jump off, which happened to my wreath this week. R.I.P. my wreath. Next and last comment, win of the week, comes from Cyber Productions. It says, my wins of the week was I bought and secured a PS5 impulsively through a Target pickup only. Then I bought another item I've been wanting for a long time that was expensive. I started my Lego Star Wars Advent Calendar, and I got the Grogu Baby Yoda set for like $66 and a Marvel CMF to get free shipping. I also got a lot of orders that were Christmas gifts and wrapped everything and got my Christmas cards mailed and gifts sent to others I'm not seeing through Amazon. So now all my Christmas shopping is done, and I'm just waiting for a few things to show up and wrap them, and I'm done. That's how you get it done, my friends. I also bought my mom an expensive birthday gift, a Keurig K Duo Plus, and I got on a killer deal at Kohl's and used Kohl's Cash, organized some stuff in my room, and I find myself always organizing, finding a better, more effective or efficient way to organize. I love that. Man, you're driven. I love people that have a drive. When you are already done with your Christmas stuff and it's already the beginning of December, That's what I'm talking about. I love the fact that you're thinking of other people too. And I think that's, again, what this whole episode is about. It's about perspectives. It's about thinking of others. How do you want to treat other people? How do you want people to feel about you? Do you should you be criticizing other people? Should you be judging other people? Should you not be accepting of other people? I think we all know the answer to that, but unfortunately some people still need to learn it, and that makes me sad. But it does make me happy to see all the positivity of all the few negatives that I saw. I want this to be very clear before we leave here. Of the negatives that I saw regarding this set, or really anything, you have to think about all the positives that are out there. There's 95 good people for every 5 bad people that are out there. So in my book, that's a win. The mass majority of people are good, and I believe in my heart that people are good. I just want to see those few that aren't. I'd like to see them maybe learn from their ways. And I don't know how we do that, but I'm just happy to know that there are a lot of good people out there and here. The people that are listening to this, if you made it this far in this podcast, I appreciate that. But I'm not going to let a few bad, a few bad eggs spoil the bunch, or a few bad apples, broken egg. I don't know what. Should I start this over? Don't let a few negative people ruin everything for you. You know, you do you. Make yourself happy. Make others happy. Do the thing that you think is right. And ultimately, that is the way to win life, at least in my opinion. Even though I'm not complete with life, I feel like that's the answer. So on that, I definitely appreciate you watching or listening to this week's episode. It really means a lot to me that you allow me, like I said in the beginning of this episode, to join you each week on whatever it is you're doing right now. It's really cool. I always say, I always feel better after doing these episodes than when I started, and it just feels like such a release for me. And I hope it was for you. I hope this made you think about something, or at the very least you just got an hour of entertainment while you were doing something that was really boring, whether it was driving to work or doing work or going to school or doing homework or cleaning your room, wrapping Christmas presents, whatever it was that you're doing. Hope you enjoyed it. And always, I hope to find you in the next Missing Pieces.